Zara woke up that morning feeling vibrant and energetic. She picked up her wooden mirror and stared at her reflection, but what she saw made her cringe. Quickly, she set down the mirror and carried her freshly made Indomie to the village market for sale. As usual, even before she arrived, hungry customers were already lined up. Mothers were eager to buy the Indomie for their children, even without money. Zara's Indomie was second to none. It had a magical taste that drew people in, and the aroma could be smelled from miles away. Her Indomie had become breakfast for the entire village, and anyone who went a day without it felt incomplete. But behind the delicious meal and irresistible aroma lay a dark secret waiting to be uncovered. Zara's Indomie wasn't ordinary. It was laced with a special ingredient unknown to the villagers, who devoured it without suspicion. Zara always prepared her Indomie at night when everyone was asleep. That was the perfect time for her to perform her rituals in secrecy. As she stirred the Indomie over the fire, she added worms she had gathered from dead bodies and animals. These worms, infused with dark magic, made her food so addictive, but they were deadly. Each time a customer swallowed a worm, it began eating away at their intestines, draining them of energy and vitality. The worms didn't kill, but made people age faster and grow weak. Children who ate the Indomie matured abnormally fast and became defiant to their parents, loyal only to Zara. When a child misbehaved, parents would threaten them, "I'll tell Zara." And the children would immediately fall in line. But no one questioned why Zara commanded such fear and obedience. Zara continued selling her Indomie and soon opened other businesses. She became a beloved figure in the village. The more wealth she amassed, the weaker the villagers became, but no one suspected her. On days she didn't show up at the market, people grieved. Everything continued this way until one day, a strong widow named Nia grew suspicious. Nia was a hard-working woman, raising 3 children alone since her husband's passing. She was strict and didn't eat outside food. In fact, she warned her children never to buy food from strangers, insisting they value home-cooked meals. Nia took it upon herself to find out what was weakening the villagers. They no longer went to the farm, they just sat at Zara's shop, eating Indomie from morning till night. Nia suspected Zara and decided to investigate. The next day, she went to Zara's shop to buy a plate of Indomie. To her surprise, Zara refused to sell to her. "I said it's finished. What don't you understand? This one is reserved for my top customers," Zara shouted. Nia left quietly. She understood that Zara sensed something in her and was wary. But Nia was determined to uncover the truth. Months passed, and as Zara's evil influence spread, Nia prepared to act. One night, she waited until Zara closed her shop, then followed her carefully to her house. Nia hid in the bushes until midnight, the hour witches performed their rituals. Nia had learned spiritual practices from her late husband, who was the village herbalist. At exactly midnight, she saw Zara sneaking out of her house, carrying a black nylon bag. Nia followed her into the forest, where human and animal corpses were dumped. Nia watched in horror as Zara scooped worms into the bag. Some were decayed and reeked terribly. After gathering enough, Zara returned home, unaware she was being followed. Nia peered through the window and watched as Zara poured the worms into a calabash, sprinkled magic oil to mask the smell, and added them to the Indomie cooking on the fire. Nia's stomach churned. She rushed home in silence, unable to sleep. She had to free the villagers, but knew it would be hard, since they were enchanted by Zara. The next morning, Nia visited her late husband's old friend, Elder Kola, a wise man who also refused to eat outside food. He had warned his family to avoid Zora's shop after having a terrifying dream. "Welcome, my child. What brings you here so early?" Elder Kola said, offering her a seat. "My heart is heavy, Elder. Our village is in danger," Nia replied. "What danger? Speak clearly, child." Nia told him everything. Elder Kola was shocked and said, "No wonder I had that dream. We must act quickly. As we speak, the chief is considering making Zora his third wife. If that happens, we are doomed." "But why is she doing all this?" Nia asked. "I don't know, but we must stop her." That night, Elder Kola gathered a few trusted men and went to Zora's house. They all witnessed her adding worms to the food. They left in silence and planned their next move. At dawn, Elder Kola, Nia, and 3 other men went to Zora's shop. Customers were already lined up. "Do you know what you're eating?" Elder Kola shouted. Everyone turned. Zora's heart sank. She knew her secret was out. She tried to flee, but men caught her and tied her up. Nia narrated everything to the villagers. One by one, the spell broke, and people began to see clearly. Some ran into the bush for sticks, ready to beat Zora, but Elder Kola stopped them. He approached her and poured spiritual oil on her head to make her confess. To everyone's shock, Zora transformed into an old woman. "She's a witch," a woman cried. Suddenly, Zora laughed and screamed. "I'm not done with you all. You pay for what you did to my family. I suffered because of you, and now you'll suffer too. I won't rest until this village is wiped out." Years ago, her father, Uchenna, had been falsely accused of sleeping with the queen, his brother's wife. For jealous friends framed him to stop him from becoming king. He was stripped and burned alive. Zora, then a child, watched helplessly as her innocent father died. Her own mother, Somadina, laughed during the execution. Zora ran to another village and began plotting revenge. A powerful herbalist taught her how to stay young and strong. The worms she added to her food drained the villagers' strength and transferred it to her. She even aimed to become queen and kill the king. When the villagers heard her story, their rage turned into sorrow. Nia stepped forward. "Zora, I understand your pain. Your father was wronged, but this revenge went too far." Zora said nothing. When the king heard of it, he felt remorse and summoned her. He begged for forgiveness and asked her to lift the curse. Zora resisted at first, but eventually forgave them. She was honored with a chieftaincy title and moved into the palace. There, she finally found peace, and died 5 months later. Thank you for reading. May we all learn from this story: pain does not justify evil. Stay blessed. Eb.